It's getting close to the end of October, but there's still a lot to harvest from our Zone 5 garden. Today I'd like to invite you to join me for a walk around the garden as I gather today's harvest. Let's start here where I'm growing Malabar spinach and flamingo beans up the same trellis. I'll harvest the flamingo beans first. These beans can be eaten whole when they're younger, but we're letting them grow to maturity on the vine and dry on the vine. We'll be eating them as dried beans this winter. We'll also save some for seeds. These beans were a beautiful pink color when they were younger, but now as they're drying, they're turning purple. A couple of people from Chile have told me that this particular bean is very popular in a Chilean soup, and they've sent me the soup recipe. So that's something I'm definitely going to try this winter with our dried beans. I'll put a link to that soup recipe in the description. This is the first year we've grown these beans, but I think we'll grow them again. They're really pretty. They make a great dried bean for the winter. And people have had them tell me they really like them. Well, I'm getting close to wrapping up today's harvest. Some of the beans aren't quite dry, so I'll leave them to dry on the vine. I want the beans to rattle almost like a shaker. Once I get all the beans harvested, I'll dry the whole beans in a windowsill until they're good and dry. Then I'll shell them and also dry the shelled beans in the windowsill. And we'll store them in the winter in glass jars. Okay, and there's a look at today's harvest. And to give you a look at the beans themselves, there they are. Pretty little beans. Now let's harvest our Malabar spinach. One of my priorities now is that our first frost could be as early as next week. So I want to harvest all of our frost-sensitive crops so we don't lose them. And Malabar spinach loves the heat, definitely frost-sensitive. So I want to harvest every leaf off of these plants today. A viewer from India shared one of his favorite Malabar spinach recipes with me. I almost always make saag paneer with my Malabar spinach, but I want to try something different this time. And I'll definitely try that recipe. I'll also give you a link in the description below. The plants are starting to grow their little berries, and hopefully they'll have time to produce some viable seeds in the berries before the plants are killed by the frost. It's going to take me a while to finish this harvest, so I'm going to go ahead and finish it, and I'll be back with you when I'm done. Okay, this is taking even longer than I thought it would. I've got most of the larger leaves harvested. It's got some small Malabar leaves left on the plant. And these larger leaves you see here are from the beans, which we won't be eating. And this way we'll get we'll enjoy all of our Malabar spinach rather than losing it to the frost. And the beds behind me will get more sunshine. All right, now let's go see if we have any carrots to harvest. We succession plant carrots from February through late summer, and we harvest them year-round, under cover in winter. We also harvest carrots in succession and only harvest them as needed for meals. Here's a little Parisienne carrot. Here's a slightly larger one. We like to grow these small varieties because they do well in partial shade, and this area is definitely partially shaded. See if we have any more. Today I'm just picking enough carrots for my wife and I to snack on during the day. Oh, got a little tiny one. Another Parisienne carrot. These might also be called Paris market carrots. Many of our carrots will be protected during the winter. The carrots in this bed won't be, but they can handle a frost, so I'm not in a hurry to harvest them all. I will want to harvest them before we start getting heavy snowfall. So I think this will be enough for my wife and I to snack on today. Now let's go pick some turnips. Turnips can also handle a light frost, so I'm not in a hurry to pick them either. And we'll probably cover this bed with a cold frame once it gets cold. Today I just want to thin out some of my Tokyo Market turnips to make room for other turnips to grow. Plus they're ready to be harvested. Some of them are anyway. There's the beauty. That's about the size they get. And these turnips taste good enough to snack on, so we'll just snack on these along with our carrots. Let's see if there are any others ready. Oops, accidentally picked a little one. Okay, there's our little turnip and carrot snack for the day. Turnips and carrots can handle a frost, but cucumbers can't. So I want to harvest the last of our cucumbers today. And here's a beauty. This plant is pretty much spent, but we still have a few good-looking cucumbers on it. We'll eat the good ones, and the rest will go to our composting worms. This one looks pretty good too. By the way, these are all straight 8 cucumbers, which we've had a lot of luck growing. The ones that look like this may not taste good to us, but our composting worms will love them. Okay, I think I've harvested all of the cucumbers for my wife and I and our composting worms. And as you can see, these vines are spent. So later today I'll come and remove all these vines and the trellis, and that'll give more sun to our fall crops, which are right behind me. Next I'll harvest tomatoes and pole beans, which definitely need to be harvested before our first frost. I've already featured these crops a lot on my last 2 harvest videos, so today I'll be brief, but I do want to show you what's still growing. Our honey drop tomatoes have produced very well for us this year, including late into the season. These are an heirloom, and I'll definitely be saving seeds to plant next year. We're also still harvesting Trionfo, Violetto, and Kentucky pole beans from this area. But since I've covered these crops a lot in my last 2 harvesting videos, today I'll just show you some highlights. In addition to honey drop tomatoes, we're still harvesting blueberries tomatoes and black cherry tomatoes, which we've grown for many years. And this is unexpected. I found another cucumber while looking for beans. Nice one too. Like last year, I'm finding a lot more Trionfo Violetto pole beans than Kentucky pole beans. They produce later into the season, and they ripen first in the spring. And I can always count on my Sweet Million tomatoes. They're the first tomatoes to ripen in the spring, and they produce well late in the season. These yellow pole beans have also done very well for us. Unfortunately, I can't remember what they're called. My wife planted these, so I'll ask her if she can remember. And if she remembers the name of these beans, I'll post it on the screen. But again, they've done very well, and we've enjoyed eating them. Nice, big, long yellow beans. Well, I harvested all of the ripe tomatoes and pole beans that I could find. I'll be back at least once more to harvest these before our first frost. Now let's go out front to harvest eggplants and peppers. Our peppers are thriving in late October, thanks in part to the warm microclimate created by black grow bags on our concrete steps. The concrete absorbs heat during the day and releases it at night to keep our plants warm, even as temperatures have dipped into the 40s at night. Today I'm harvesting all of the ripe peppers, and I'll return to harvest all of them before our first frost, which could be as soon as next week. I may also try to keep a few of our most productive plants growing past the first frost by placing them under cover. I've made a small solar dome covered with 6mm greenhouse film for this purpose. We eat most of our peppers fresh from the garden, but we'll likely have a surplus at the end of the growing season. I'll preserve the surplus by dehydrating some peppers and freezing the rest. Our eggplants are also still thriving and ripening. There are several Japanese white egg eggplants to harvest today. Small varieties like this do very well here. I'm so glad we expanded the garden into the front yard. We never had luck growing eggplants in the backyard garden, but they do great out front where it's more sunny. I'm also harvesting a number of black beauty eggplants. I'm planning on making eggplant barta with this harvest. Finally, though I'll wait until just before our first frost to harvest our sweet potatoes, I will harvest more of the sweet potato leaves today. I'm planning on making chow fan su yi with these leaves. It's a very simple but delicious Chinese dish with sweet potato leaves and garlic served over rice. Our sweet potato tuber production isn't that great here in Zone 5, but they're worth growing because we eat the tubers and the leaves. Yes. I may do a quick video on our sweet potato harvest, probably next week. Pick more. Pick more. And here's a look at today's complete harvest. It was a lot of work, but well worth it. I hope to bring you more harvest videos in November, December, January, February, and so on to give you an idea of what we're harvesting throughout the year from our Zone 5 garden. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more videos on how to grow a lot of food on a little land without spending much or working harder than you have to.